You're listening You're listening to Rim's Gray Hair Chronicles, top 3 stories of the week. The world's gone strange, but we love a good peek. From shadows deep to the global stage, we bring the truth from age to age. With harmony bold and a skeptical tone, we dig up the news they don't want known. So stoke the fire and have a seat. This week's top 3 can't be beat. Pilgrim's Gray Chronicles.
That's right. Friday night, top 3 stories of the week, Pilgrim's Gray Chronicles. I am your host, Robert Clark, and it is, again, that time of the week. And this week, we have desert deals in Dominion. Where the dust hasn't settled, it's been stirred by boots and pens, by kings and presidents, by men who smile wide while cities burn quiet. And this week, the headlines don't just whisper, they echo through oil fields, shattered glass, satellite beams, through ruins older than Rome, and dreams darker than prophecy. Deals are made in golden halls, maps are redrawn with coded language. The Middle East isn't just waking, it's aligning. And the watchers, they know what time it is, even if some of us don't. Trump walks in desert shadows, Syria rises, Gaza bleeds, and in the background, always the ancient war of seed versus seed continues. So welcome, travelers, to the Pilgrim's Gray Chronicles, where the veil is thin, and the news tells more than it intends. And doesn't it seem like this veil is getting thinner and thinner, and the world stranger and stranger? Not like over great periods of time, like it just seems like it's getting, the time for strangeness getting stranger seems like is getting shorter and it's exponentially greater. So anyway, let's get to our first story. As we do our journal of the Watchers of the Wall, where the dust of ancient covenants meets the thunder of present storms, right? Friday, May 17th, 2025. Story 1 is Trump in the Desert, a deal with the kings of the East. In a scene that could have come from the final chapters of a modern-day Book of Kings, Donald Trump returned to the Middle East, not with war horses, but with contracts. What was brokered may echo louder than any missile, because during his whirlwind tour across Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, Trump secured over $600 billion in investment commitments, including a staggering $142 billion defense package. So in Qatar, $96 billion flowed to Boeing, further intertwining U.S. defense technology with Gulf sovereignty. And in the Emirates, there's whispers of a $1.4 trillion AI and infrastructure pact that begins circulating. Technology built for control, surveillance, and for empire. The optics were lavish. They had sword dances, golden halls, strange dark-haired women flopping their hair about and undulating. Very odd. But the undercurrent is something older. These were not merely economic deals, they were alignments. New kings finding common cause, and just like the days of Babel, the builders are once again gathering in Shinar, right? The plains of Shinar. And how odd that we're going to get involved for money's sake with these massive 7-foot-tall computer, quantum computing, and just hand this technology over to people willing to donate billions. It's like I don't know. All I can say is it's like these things are being set up for a hive mind all over the planet. And things are going to get weird, I think. And then number 2, the unveiling in Damascus, lifting the veil on Syria. For the first time in 25 years, an American president met with Syria's leadership, and not just any handshake, but the lifting of all U.S. sanctions on Syria. So the scene was set in muted tones as Donald Trump sat with interim President Ahmed al-Shara, a man whose past is as veiled as the ruins of Palmyra. The decision has left U.S. officials stunned, with Israel expressing deep concern. Well, of course. And this isn't diplomacy, it's a reshuffling of the chessboard anyway, mid-game. Syria, long a seat of bloodshed and mystery, is suddenly back in play. So one has to ask, what was offered beneath the surface, right? What spirit has been invited back into the land of Aram? I would like to know what principality is behind this and what are they up to. And as always, with Syria, nothing is what it seems. In the land where Paul was struck blind, a different light is now flashing. But it may not come from heaven. So we'll wait to see what comes of that deal and what that might spark. But it's something to keep an eye on. And then 3, Gaza in flames. So as bombs fall over Gaza and headlines drown in politics, the real story may be what's being proposed amid the ashes. In a move that shocked allies and enraged enemies, President Trump suggested the creation of a freedom zone inside Gaza, alongside promises of humanitarian aid and reconstruction. But what does that actually mean? I mean, are we talking a no-fly zone, a buffer state, or are we talking something more permanent, like a redrawing of prophetic boundaries, perhaps? So with over 15,000 reported casualties, the region teeters on the edge of all-out war, and yet amid the fire and rubble, deals are being made. New orders are being set, and the land of Abraham is once again center stage in a global drama where lines drawn in blood might soon be etched in stone. It's going to be an interesting one to watch, and there's lots happening out there. But I thought those were 3 kind of tied together stories and very interesting. Because these aren't, as watchmen, we need to look for patterns, right? Pilgrims, watchmen, because these aren't disconnected events. They are converging arcs in a larger narrative. So in the halls of power and the deserts of old, the pieces are moving and the watchers know the signs, and the kings of earth gather. Peace is offered, but deals are sealed with swords. Nations rage, yet behind the veil, ancient spirits still hunger for thrones and dominions. Because this is not all just human activity. It is the seed war made modern. And so our chronicles continue of it, right? Anyway, you've just crossed another chapter in the Chronicles. But, of course, the journey doesn't end here. Here at Pilgrim's Gray, we don't just chase trends. We trace the ancient wars still echoing through today's world, from Babel to black sites, from prophecy to politics. And we run 3 shows, each built for a different part of our pilgrim walk. We have our Monday Pilgrim Gray Chronicles, where we do deep dive investigations on seed war history, ancient technology, prophetic timelines, suppressed truth, just strange things out there, all related. And then on Wednesday nights, we have the Watchtower inbox, where we can all gather at the end and communicate in our community. We read your emails, your comments, and then whatever wild things we can find crawling the web, we get answered, unpacked, and re-aimed for clarity. And then on Fridays, as you're listening to now, we have our top 3 stories of the week, decoded and connected, so you don't just hear the news, you see the agenda behind it. And I do it with the idea that you'll be prompted to investigate these things on your own, which is why I try to keep it short and pithy. And if something stirred in you today, please share it. The more you share, the more the algorithm goes, people want to see this or hear it. And if you're listening on whatever your favorite streaming service is, whether it's Spotify or Amazon or Apple, please leave us a 5-star review. That helps incredibly to spread. And it's something you can do to really help and support us if you enjoy what you're hearing. So take a little time out of your life, a few 10 seconds or so, and we'd appreciate that if you would do that for us. That would be really great. And I don't I don't necessarily believe in brand building, but you can visit if you want to support the band, you can visit our pilgrimsgray.com to support the band. And you can look in our show description for different merchandise or just different ways to support us any way that you feel like you want to support. But in regards to not building a brand, my focus is really stewarding a message, if that makes sense, not necessarily building a brand. Whether it's with our music or the podcast and things that we do, we need fellow pilgrims and watchers and flame keepers who refuse to let all this darkness go unchallenged, right? So we appreciate your comments, your likes, your shares, and any other support you give. And I always try to read some of my more favorite comments and emails every Wednesday night. I'm especially happy to read any one of them that are positive comments that support us. So, and I read the bad ones too. People challenge us or say strange things. So don't think that we're just an echo chamber, Anyway, until next time, this Monday, where we will wrap up hopefully, our third and final chapter in the Mazaroth, where we will cover the final 6 sections of the Sky Clock. And have done with that and then move on to bigger, better things. So until then, stay sharp, stay grounded, and keep your lantern lit.
You're listening to Pilgrim's Chronicles Top 3 Stories of the Week. The world's gone strange, but we love a good peek. From shadows deep to the global stage, we bring the truth from age to age with harmony bold and a skeptical tone. We dig up the news they don't want known. So stoke the fire and have a seat. This week's top 3 can't be beat. Pilgrim's Gray Chronicles. From shadows deep to the global stage, we bring the truth from age to age with harmony bold and a skeptical tone. We dig up the news they don't want known. So stoke the fire and have a seat. This week's top 3